All right, so good morning. Today is November 17, 2020, and we're doing another session for our high school students who are considering different careers in psychology, education, and fashion. Today we have three guests as college students who are in different steps in their program, different years. And so I'm gonna have them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about, who they are, their major, their year, and what do they hope to do in the future. And then we'll get started with our topic today, which is strategies to succeed in college. My name is Claudia Rinaldi, and I'm the director of the Pathways to Diversity program here at LaSalle University. And I'll pass it on to Kathleen.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Vega. I'm a junior here in LaSalle, and I'm a fashion design major. I'm with the Fashion Path to Diversity program. In the future, I'm really looking forward to creating my brand and just design and sew like I love to do.
Wonderful, Kathleen. Brianna, you want to go next?
Okay. Hi, hello. I am Brianna Barrett. I am a sophomore here at LaSalle University, and I am an early childhood education major. This is my second year being in the Pathways to Diversity program as well. And in the future, I hope to be a first grade or second grade teacher.
Wonderful, Brianna. Thank you. And Jacqueline?
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I'm a psychology major. I'm a senior. I'm with the Psychology Pathways program. Let's see. This is my second year also. And I think a goal for the future is I want to be a school psychologist.
Oh, wonderful. So two people in school and one making her own brand. So that's really exciting. So why don't you share a little bit about what has been the most fun experience that you feel you learned a lot while you've been in college? It could be something around, designing a dress that you never thought you could, or designing a lesson plan, or learning about a child's unique way to work with, or anything of that sort. So who'd like to begin today by telling us what one great positive strategy that you've learned that is related to your major?
I can start. So, a positive and what I really liked about LaSalle is like the connected learning. So like in my field, having like teachers that already went to like jobs in the field and know the fashion field well and teaching us and having us connect with other persons in the field, it was like it's a huge network for me. So that really works for what I want to do. And I also like learning all the different techniques that different teachers know, and like each of them have like their one own way to do things, so like learning all of them and then like just like deciding which one works for me. That's really helpful, not having like a one specific way to do it and just like learning from all of them. That's just like that's what I like about college, because like having all the connection with the teachers and with other students, also like learning, seeing other students doing their designs and be like, oh, I really like that, I should try that. So like having, seeing other experiences and sharing my experience, that's something I like about college, just having, being in contact with other people and learning more about them.
Wonderful, Kathleen. Who wants to go?
I can go next. I really like the connected learning as well. Being an ed major, we're supposed to be in the classrooms. So last year I was at Rockwell, which is a daycare here by LaSalle, and it was really fun to get to be a teacher, be in a teacher role, and get to know students and what I like learning and shadowing other teachers, learning what to do and what not to do in certain situations. So that was really fun for me.
Wonderful. And Jacqueline?
I think now being a senior, I can look back at my 4 years and really appreciate all the opportunities that I've had. I could say one of the things that really attracted me to LaSalle was the fact that psychology majors were required to complete 2 internships that would end up giving you 400 hours of experience. Not a ton of schools do that. And I remember at first thinking, why? This is so nerve-wracking. But now that I've gotten all this experience and it's on my resume, I'm applying to grad schools. I'm just so appreciative that the fact that LaSalle pushes you not just to learn in the classroom, but to get that hands-on experience. in other areas.
Wonderful. Yes. So we actually have a couple high school students joining us today, Abby and Felicia, and I think we lost one, Sarah. But that's great. So I hope that if you feel that you have a question, you could put it in the chat and our students are happy to share. We have again Kathleen in fashion. She's a junior, Brianna in early childhood education as a sophomore, and Jacqueline as a psychology major, a senior. So you have a really wide variety of experiences. Why don't we move on to one strategy of successful strategy that you've learned in college for making like social life fun in college? So who wants to start with that question?
I can start. Last year, as a freshman, I didn't really join any clubs or anything. I just like, I just hung out with the kids in my class. But this year, I was able to join a couple of clubs, like the Naturals Club, and I find that it is very important to like join clubs so that you're meeting other people and you're networking. Um, yeah, and it's like during this quarantine time or this COVID time, it's important to like make connections with friends as well so you don't feel lonely. And I'm glad I did that this year. So
Can you tell us a little bit about the club, Brianna?
the Naturals Club, it's a club for those with natural hair. So like curly hair, kinky hair. Those with straight hair can obviously join as well. So it's just a club to get to know others, their hair routines and what they do, and just to share their experiences with how they became natural or if they have been natural, and just to share tips.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I didn't know we had that club. I like it. Excellent. All right, Kathleen, what's your experience in a successful strategy to be happy on campus?
So I also like starting as a freshman, I really wanted to join clubs, just like to know people and share experience. So I did join um different clubs. I joined She's the First, and I also joined the STEP team and Natural MSU. So I did join like different clubs as a freshman. Then I also like realized that like you really don't need to join all of the clubs on campus. Just find the one that you connect with and the one that you can really fit in, and that's the one that will help you with. So like with time I did focus in some clubs more than others, but I was still like checking in sometimes and checking on the club and being like, oh, what you guys are doing, how like everything is going. Because like with schoolwork and club, it's kind of like sometimes you have a lot depending on the club. I know like natural clubs is only like meetings that you do like twice every 2 weeks, I think. So that's very like helpful, having like not having to go to meetings every week. That helps with scheduling and classes. But I really feel like joining clubs was like very helpful for me, because like I did, that was where I met most of my friends on campus. And joining the STEP team, that was actually like my sisterhood. So like every problem I had on campus, and I would go to practice. Any of us could be like, oh, today I have problems. So we would have like circle times, talking with each other and just like supporting each other. So that's how I could like cope with all my works at school, just like finding a support system. And I feel like clubs could be that support system, but we also have like different resources on campus. I personally, I am a student that like to like be connected with my teachers. So I have like a lot of fashion teachers. I would just like go to their office hours and talk to them and be like sitting down and just talk to them. And we are very friends now. They are not my teachers this semester, but I still like talk to them. If I see them on campus, we say hi and just like they check on me, and I'll just like tell them what I'm doing. So I feel like teachers can also be like a support system for you. It doesn't have to be just like friends or like resources on campus. So like basically whoever or like whatever you find more helpful for you to be your support system, I feel like my advice would be like just find that support system so you could just like take out every stress you have.
Wonderful, Kathleen. That was awesome, and thank you for saying about the faculty being part of that. I definitely do love the college students, and So it is fun when you guys come by and drop by on normal times. Now it's like, call me on Zoom, text me. I want to know what you guys are up to. Are you okay? So that's great. Thanks for sharing that. And the step team, I'm assuming, is like a dance step team.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
So you would do some chatting and then some dancing too, which is good
Yeah, so we
exercise.
would have like practices each week. So like on the practice, we kind of like set up a circle time where it was like a moment where everyone would say what was happening that week and like we could support each other. And we'll
Oh,
also
that's so
have
nice.
activities on campus and off campus.
Great. Excellent. Jacqueline, what about you?
I would say when first coming to LaSalle, this was kind of like my first time ever leaving home. So I kind of got there and was like, okay, like what's next? And I feel like I'm also with Kathleen and Brianna. Like the first thing I wanted to do was like join a club. I was like, this is a way to like make friends. This is a way to meet people. And I did that. But I also started to realize, like Kathleen, that I was becoming a little overwhelmed and kind of stretched thin. And that's when I kind of learned the practice of time management, which is something that I feel has gotten better and better over time. But it was the whole idea that yes, I want to be part of this club. Yes, I want to, meet friends, but I'm also here to go to school. So it was definitely learning how to find that balance of social life and school life and family life. And it didn't happen overnight. It definitely was something that I had to practice and am still learning to figure out today. But I think once you know that you understand that that skill, like you will be successful in your entire life.
That is very true, Jacqueline. I think I'm still trying to figure that out. Even as an adult and you age, different things take different importance in your life. So I think it's a good skill to learn because you'll use it throughout your whole life. So we have a question today. It says, did you know what you wanted to major in before you got to college, or did you figure that out as you went along? So who would like to take that?
Answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, for me, I didn't know before I came into college because like I came from a liberal high school, so we had like a program where like you just like so I did fashion in high school. And but it was kind of like I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure about it because like, we have like that stereotype that like fashion or arts is not like something you should do because like it's not like there are people that don't see it as a professional. So I was like, I have to explain it to my dad. Should I do this? Am I having a career doing fashion? So I was like I was questioning it, and I did a lot of research. And when I talked with my dad, it was kind of like he was like, go ahead, because I literally did my research. I was like, it's a broad field. I have all this job available for me, blah blah blah. But I was still questioning it. So like when I came here, it was kind of like I saw people doing the same thing, people having the same passion. I was like, this is a thing. So that was when I like actually decided this is what I wanted to do. But I was also like a peer mentor for 2 years, and I've seen a lot of like freshmen not knowing what they wanted to do and being undecided. And I just wanted to say that's fine. You really don't have to know what you want to do now. You can come to college and explore different like careers and different majors and decide what you want to do. And I feel like I would do that if I didn't know I wanted to do fashion because like I feel it's fun to experience different. I had like my roommate was undecided and she did business, then she did like fashion merchandise class, and then she decided to go to psychology. And I was like, I really wanted to like experience all of that and see like every career how like if I would like it. But it is fine not to be sure what you want to do before coming to college.
Great. Brianna or Jacqueline, do any of you want to take that question?
Can go. I knew what I wanted to do, mostly because I worked in a daycare my junior and senior year of high school, and I loved interacting with the kids. And I also got the opportunity to come here at LaSalle through the Pathways to Diversity program. Where I got to tour the campus, got to ask ed majors questions, and yeah, it was kind of like fate. And then I ended up here, which I'm very grateful for.
I like that. Fate. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I remember working Brianna when she was at her high school and just seeing her excitement. And And we did, when we have students over, they get to sit in class and they get to experience our simulation lab and eat in our room, in our grill, and see rooms and really see what it feels like. Are any of you in your dorms right now?
I am.
I am.
So you could kind of see their dorms a little bit too.
Yeah.
So you could see, you know, a little bit, you know, Kathleen has it really beautifully uh, decorated with her little comforter. Brianna, we can't see that much. Oh, look at how neat, beautiful. Brianna's looks nice, but I can't see much of
Like with
anything.
COVID, we didn't have that much student coming on campus, so we are having like double rooms, and I'm a single right now, so I do have two beds, and I made one of them a couch. But like,
Oh, that's perfect. Great
yeah.
idea. That's wonderful. Jacqueline, did you want to share anything about the question that we had of whether you knew your major or not?
Sure. So I was kind of a combination of both. In high school, I bounced around from different ideas. I thought of becoming a pediatrician, of becoming a physical therapist, and I actually did internships within my school to try them, and I was able to rule them out pretty quickly, due to I didn't like touching feet or I wasn't good with needles. So I knew those weren't the career path for me, but I always knew that I wanted to help people. So kind of like Brianna, I started working at a daycare. And everyone always told me, "Oh, you'd be such a great teacher. That's the job we see you doing." And in my heart, I truly knew that I was not meant to be a teacher. I love kids, but I don't want to teach. I didn't want to do lesson plans. That's just not where I saw myself being. So I ended up taking a psychology course in high school and thought, "Well, this is really cool. Maybe this is something that I'd be good at." So I decided when I came to LaSalle, I'll just go in as a psychology major and see what happens. And I had to take social classes and human services and criminal justice. And I realized that psychology was just like the field for me. It was the field that covered everything that I loved in one, but it also gave me that one-on-one that I was looking for and still being a helper. So I was completely satisfied with my decision.
That is awesome. I love that. I love that, Jacqueline. That's awesome. So we have another question. I think that'll be our last question for today, unless somebody's really dying to ask another one. But we don't want to make this too long. So the question is, how do you know how do you know it was the right campus for you? So, and of course, LaSalle is a small campus of about 1,400 students at the undergraduate level and another 700 at the graduate level. And we're nestled in a suburban neighborhood, which is very quiet. So we're not a big party school that you could see a ton of people around. We have different kinds of housing. We have like regular kind of building style, but we also have Victorian homes. So it kind of creates a little bit of a home feel to the campus. And more family oriented, I feel like, between the students. But that's kind of how I see it from the faculty, and faculty do not live on campus. So I don't really know about whether that would have been the right campus for me, but I could tell you that I went to a much bigger university of 10,000 students. And I really did feel like a number. And I had to go through a lot of experiences all by myself. Even when I changed majors, I started as a math major and then went into psychology and elementary education. And it was a really hard time, and I had nobody to talk to. And the clubs were scary for me because I didn't know if I fit in, and I had no one to tell me, no, just go out and try it. It's okay. So that was kind of my experience. I think if I had to do it over, I would want a smaller campus. But you know, that goes kind of with your personality as well. So who'd like to take that question from me?
I can go.
Okay.
So when I first came to LaSalle, I actually applied to the school, had never visited it, had never did any research on it, just applied on a whim. And I never forget the first day I was driving up here. It was like a torrential downpour. It was so disgusting out. And I remember like I reached the beginning of campus and I just knew, I'm like, this is where I'm going to school. Like you
Oh,
could think that it was so disgusting out. It was like 20 degrees. And I knew like right away. And the one thing that I think attracted me to the school was the fact that it felt like home, the fact that it was in a neighborhood, the fact that you saw people like riding their bikes and kids running around. And it was something comforting for me because I'm not like, let's live in the city with the rustle and the bustle and like thousands of people walking everywhere. So just seeing that sense of community is what made me feel like this is where I want to be.
Yeah, great. Great. I love that story. You just kind of know. And sometimes you do. You kind of walk in the campus and you're like, I love it. When I came to interview, I felt the same way, Jacqueline. So I'm like, oh my God, I want to be here. So, and I came from two large institutions where I was a faculty there, and I never felt like that in either or. So it's kind of the same for faculty too. Brianna, what about you?
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying. It totally depends on you as a person. I know that here at LaSalle, the lectures here are like 20 to 30 students, so it's not, the classes are not big, and the teacher gets to know you personally, which I really like. So yeah, it just depends on you as a person. If you like the bigger schools, here at LaSalle is definitely not a party school. It's more focused on academics, but it depends on what you want in life.
And Brianna, do you remember what it felt like when you came as a senior to visit campus with the Pathways to Diversity program?
Yes, I do remember. I I realized that it was a very small school, which I do prefer because I came from a smaller high school as well. I got to, and from my high school, I was able to make a lot of friendships with my teachers, which I personally like because it's important for your teacher to get to know you. And I didn't want to be treated like a number as well either. So yeah.
Wonderful. Kathleen, what about you? Do you want to share?
Yeah. I actually had like same experience. I also came, it was like pouring out and I was like I couldn't see anything. It was cold. I was like, can you store in? But it was like very comfortable at the same time. And when I walk into the Victoria house and I was like, oh, this is actually like a house. It feels like home and like I could really like live here. And the campus was very small. I knew I wanted a small campus. I did apply for like bigger colleges for fashion, but at the time after applying, I was like, I'd rather go to a small school where like I could actually contact my teachers and ask all the questions I have. And I felt like LaSalle being a small school for me being a fashion design, not having, we really don't have a competition between us. We actually like help each other, so we do learn a lot from each other. And I feel like going to New York, which was one of my options, I was like, I'll have more competition there instead of like working on what I could do and working on getting better. So I decided to come to a small school for like learning from others instead of like having a competition. And I also chose LaSalle because of the study abroad program, because I really wanted to go studying abroad. So it was kind of like a whole, I had like a list of like things to check, and like being small and cozy and like seeing people going around, dogs and kids, it was kind of like felt like home. And yeah, so I was like, this is the campus I want. I didn't want like a bigger campus because I know I'm a very quiet person. If I go to a bigger, I would just like stay in my dorm. I wouldn't do anything. So LaSalle really pushed me out of my comfort zone because like people would like actually like talk to you and be like, join the club and do this, do that. I was like, okay, I do have like to interact because like people want to interact with me. So that really helped me personally, like working and like me being more out there and networking more. And I feel that will help me with my career.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you because when I was at that big institution as a college student, they didn't try to recruit you for things, you had to seek them. So yeah, I didn't join any clubs because I was too scared to walk up to them. I was pretty very much like you. And the idea of being the big fish in the little pond is kind of like getting to know your professors. They get to know you, they get to know your strengths. And that's one of the things that I love about our campus, even as a faculty member. It's the same thing for us, it's the same experience. And so we get to share that experience with you. And that is something to consider is, you want to be that little fish in the big ocean, or do you want to be that big fish in the little pond? And you get to know everything around and be able to use it for your benefit. So that's one thing that over my lifetime, I've learned that that really resonates with me. So if that resonates with some of you, consider the small campus. Okay, so I wanted to just thank you so much for coming today, Felicia, Sarah, and Abby. And I also wanted to thank our mentor leaders, Kathleen and Brianna and Jacqueline, for coming today and sharing your insights and your experiences, which are something that I wish I would have had as a student, and that probably you wish you would have had as well. Brianna did have it by a little bit, but the rest of you probably didn't. And just kind of being able to ask questions. So if you want to reach any of the mentors out, please let your teacher know, and we'll connect you with them. And then we'll see you at our next session. We have another one on Friday. And that is one focused on what are the benefits of small campuses, coincidentally. So thank you again to all of you for coming, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh,
Bye.
bye, ladies.